Caesar, you're on the air.
Yeah, I'm a believer, and I like to start out asking you guys a question. It's an honest question, and I hope you guys will give me an answer.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really simple. The question is, what is the evidence that makes your atheism true?
Well, my atheism is that I don't believe a God exists, and the reason for that is that I don't see any evidence that a God exists.
Yeah, but I was hoping for a scientific evidence because you guys are such...
Well, that is an application of science. It's appropriate to reject a claim for which no evidence has been presented.
Oh, well, I disagree on that, obviously. I think there is evidence.
So you think that it's appropriate to accept a claim?
No, he says he disagrees in that he says that there is evidence.
Well, then by all means, present your evidence.
Yeah, if there's sufficient evidence, then it would be believable.
No, I know, but the answers you gave me is so basically the answer you gave me is not really a scientific answer. It's not based on scientific evidence.
Yes, it is. It's based on the fact that
we have no evidence to examine, and therefore we cannot assert that this thing exists. I can't assert something exists for which I have no evidence that it exists.
Okay, well that's not really that's like a deduction you made. That's not really like a scientific.
There's no measurement of it. Okay, so in other words, if you cannot measure this thing, if there's no way to measure it, then there is nothing there. Okay, when you go to measure something and you get a zero measurement, you're dealing with something that we generally would call nothing. And what I'm saying is that so far the measurements, anything you would measure to determine that something exists, comes back negative. There's nothing there. So until I have something that demonstrates that it's there, if you can show a measurement that this thing actually does exist, that there is something there, then my assessment is that what we're talking about is nothing.
Okay, well obviously you're making the assumption that God is a physical being, that he could be measured.
Well, you're saying he exists. Well, yeah. That's what that means.
Existing doesn't mean it has to be physical.
What does exist in what way? And your mind is physical. If we destroyed your brain, your mind would stop, right? It's a function of your brain.
That's the assumption if you don't believe, yeah.
Show me a mind that exists without a brain.
We can demonstrate that.
Yeah, I think you could, but all right. The thing is that that's really like I could talk about the evidence, but this has been done so many times before on your show.
Yeah, I know you've been on the show before. So.
Yeah, I mean the thing is that you guys are like you have heard evidence of the intelligent design.
That was shot down at Dover pretty humiliatingly.
Yeah, that's dead.
No, I don't know. Also,
you need to read. Yeah, you need to read the court case Dover v. Kitzmiller or Kitzmiller v. Dover. That was very convincingly shot down.
Right. That's when they had their chance to make their case.
And the people who were proposing this idea of intelligent design were shown to be very dishonest. So.
No, I'm not talking about just the biology. I know what you're talking about with Dr. Behe. They went to court.
Yeah.
I'm also talking about the finely tuned universe, the evidence of intelligence in our universe, the fact that
all of those rely on logical fallacies or just.
Okay, can you give me a logical fallacy?
What of what?
Of why I believe the universe is intelligently made. Give me a logical fallacy. Oh,
why would I assume something? It's basically an argument from ignorance.
Well, you say that these are deductions that I make. It's not what I don't know; it's what I do know about the universe. Like
okay, then give me something that you do know that points to an intelligent universe.
Okay, life. Only life can make life, and intelligence. It's only like life can make life. Only life can make life, and intelligence comes from intelligence. It can't come from molecules in motion. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean. It's called the circle of life. You know, that life where life is created by life. And of course, that life was created by life because life only comes from life. Do you guys ever get dizzy?
And yet we have experiments that demonstrate that we can get the basic protein building blocks.
Yeah, oh my God, that is almost laughable. That is
really?
Just getting amino blocks. It's like saying I constructed a pile of rubble, of bricks, therefore I have a house. You are so far away from a cell.
No. Caesar, the problem here is that you are so far away from understanding anything related to the science involved in this.
Okay, what don't I understand? You just told me I don't understand.
I can't give you a lesson in biochemistry.
Wait a minute. I know what an amino acid is. Amino acid is a building block for proteins. Proteins are three-dimensional structures for the cell. I know that basic stuff. And you're telling me, hello?
You're still on.
Sorry. And you're telling me that just because we can construct simple amino acids, therefore we explain life.
Well, if you go back a few years, it was that we couldn't construct these simple amino acids, therefore it wasn't possible to get life from non-life. And now that we know you can construct these simple amino acids, and there have been experiments where these things are self-assembling.
No, they have. Oh, yeah. They have. What do you mean, inside the cell or outside the cell?
Well, we've got experimental results that show these things are self-organizing.
Of course they do, inside the cell. Yeah, of course. I'm talking about outside the cell, without the mechanisms.
Well, what do you want, a step-by-step procedure?
No, but that's the thing, because if you're an atheist, right, you rely on these very detailed, bottom-up, explanations.
Okay, stop. Here, because if you want a step-by-step sequence of what happens to construct this.
I know that's impossible.
Okay.
No one has the answer
it's not
to
impossible. And it's in fact, I would say it's probable that given enough time, we will construct that step-by-step sequence.
Okay, that is atheism in the gas. You're placing your faith on scientism.
I'm not placing my faith on anything. I'm looking at the evidence. I have no evidence of a supernatural intervention anywhere. And unless you do, then you're done.
I know the argument you're making about the amino acids, that we can construct simple amino acids. I can say another thing about that. You're just talking about intelligent design, because you're talking about human beings who are intelligent agents manipulating the amino acids of a cell. That is not a natural phenomenon. That is an agency at work.
What makes you think that, okay, you're saying that there has to be some kind of intelligent agency involved in manipulating these, or it doesn't happen?
For the cell, yes, only because the cell is such a complicated machine.
Okay, so once we demonstrate that if you put the right basic ingredients together, that a cell is constructed, then you're going to drop that and move up?
All right, first of all, even if you do that, I don't know if that's even possible. Maybe with future technology, we can construct a cell.
Today we found one blue colony, and we believe that this is our first synthetic cell. It's alive!
Well, now to a major scientific breakthrough, building life from scratch. A biologist here in the U.S. claims to have created the first man-made cell.
It's life, but not as we know it. These are synthetic cells, bacteria that have been hijacked with man-made DNA to produce a new species that's never before existed in nature.
That's intelligent design. It hasn't been shown to happen naturally. It's been shown to happen with a brain, with technology and man, It has to be demonstrated naturally.
Well, let me ask you something.
Can I interject just one thing?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're not going to demonstrate it happening in nature, because the time frame that it happened in, the planet is no longer under those conditions.
Exactly.
We have an entirely different atmosphere. We have an entirely different construct of this planet than the time with which this would have occurred. So to look at the planet 4 billion years later, or I don't know, and say it doesn't happen today. Well, I don't see dinosaurs running around today either, and yet I know that there were dinosaurs at one point in history.
That's an argument. That's not scientific.
Well, no. Caesar, let me ask you something. Let me ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
What piece of scientific evidence would refute your claim that intelligence is required to produce life?
Well, it is falsifiable. If science can find how life was created on its own without any intelligence interference, then that will be one piece of evidence against God, I suppose. It won't dissuade me, but
okay, so
it won't make any difference.
So there's no piece of scientific evidence that you would accept
In this
Yeah,
regard, in
there
this
is
regard
one,
to
the
life.
universe. If you can show how the universe created without a God, then that's damning right there.
Well, we have the Big Bang Theory that's been confirmed.
Yeah, the Big Bang Theory. You know, that's just an event. That doesn't mean it created itself.
So in other
talk
words,
about things that happen-
there's no scientific evidence that you would accept that would disprove this notion you have of an intelligent agency behind this.
I have another one. I'm a believer in the near-death experience or the out-of-body experience.
No. Answer the question, because is there any piece of scientific evidence that you personally will accept that will refute your claim that there's an intelligent agency behind all this?
That's true. You're talking, all right, can you give me one? Because
No, I'm asking you. I'm asking you, what scientific evidence, is there any piece of scientific evidence that you will accept that will refute your claim that an intelligent agency is behind this?
Science has not shown whether God
It's a
does
yes or no
does not
question.
exist.
It's a yes or no
You're talking
question.
about scientific evidence, right?
Caesar, it's a yes or no question.
It's a loaded yes or no question. I can't answer it with just a yes or a no. I need to explain a little bit.
Is there any scientific evidence?
The simple answer is no. Not right now.
Okay, then why are you claiming that you have science? Why are you attacking science? Your faith is based entirely on
something else.
On
You're
theological
misinterpreting. I'm a believer in the scientific world. Obviously, I mean.
No, you're not. You're rejecting its basic conclusions.
Everything you talked
You're
about, the
rejecting
amino
the
acids
methodology.
and the proteins, I totally agree with you. Yeah, those things make life.
I mean, but isn't your basic argument that because you feel that life has not been explained, like how life initiated has not been explained, that you think that's evidence a God exists? I mean, is that not what you're saying?
That's evidence for intelligent design. Look,
Why?
aliens could have done it. Look,
Why?
aliens could have done it, right?
It could have happened naturally, correct? I mean, it could have. If we're talking about
aliens could have done it, but the aliens are another stopgap. Life doesn't explain.
Can you rule out that life could spark naturally in all circumstances that occur in the universe?
Oh yeah, because you know why? Because I could see the.
Okay.
Let me explain. The cell is the most complicated piece of machinery in this universe. It's more complicated than your brain. It's more complicated.
No, it isn't.
Not really. I mean, brain cells.
Thank you.
Right? It's more complicated than a space shuttle, right? Is a cell more complicated than a space shuttle?
I don't know, there's like a few components in there. I don't know that there.
A few components. A cell can do things that we can't even imagine right now with our technology.
I think we can imagine them. Yeah.
We can imagine. We can't do it. You know, we can. We can't even duplicate what a cell can do.
Well, the space shuttle does things I can't do, right? I can't orbit the Earth.
Yeah, but you're making a mockery out of the cell.
I'm not making a mockery. You're exaggerating the complexity of this thing.
Yeah, it's a complexity, and the only explanation for that complexity is intelligence.
How do you know that?
Based on all of that, if I died right now, you think that I'm going to hell.
Okay.
The question is, do you think I deserve it for that?
I think only God can make that judgment.
Oh, God, you're done. Go away. If you can't think for yourself, no wonder you believe in a God.